Hey, happy Monday, everyone. This is Dr. Mark Supernon. With me today is Keisha Morrison. She is my stud, the office manager. She runs everything, clinic director here. She is going to be helping me, assisting me with week 6, the fitness plan. This is the exercise part of the 5 essentials. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A couple things I want to do, just some housekeeping stuff. Michaela is going to be here as well on the side, adding comments. If you guys have questions, ask there. But I want to just kind of make you guys aware of a couple things. Number one, if you haven't watched the virus class, you definitely need to go back and watch the virus class. That was week 2. And maybe Michaela can find the link and link it up for you guys here so you can have it. The other piece of it, though, is I would also make sure that you guys send that virus class out to somebody. There is so much misinformation out there. There's so much fear mongering. There's so much garbage out there. I can't even pick up or watch a piece of news because of how bad of science is going on, how much garbage is out there, how much pseudoscience is out there. I read an article today about Elon Musk last week. He's got a mild case of COVID. He got tested 4 times by the same nurse with the same testing kit. 2 were positive, 2 were negative. And so if that doesn't tell you a little something about what's going on, and of course we're freaking out over tests and people need to have tests and all this kind of stuff. The other thing that I posted today that I was just fascinated by and floored by as well. See if I can't pick up the article here real quick. And it was from, I'm not exactly sure where it was from. I think it was Washington Post. But it said Western nations face a big challenge in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Number one, it's not a pandemic. A certain amount of people have to die, and this is not labeled as a pandemic because not enough people. And get it, don't get me wrong. I'm not being insensitive to the fact that people that have been taken by COVID, but the reality is that this is just not pandemic status. 10 months into the health crisis, again, they're calling it a health crisis. If you listen to the media, they're going to use war terms. They're going to use terms that are going to scare the crap out of you. They're going to make you cancel your Thanksgiving plans with your family. Hi, Mom. And they're going to do things like that. And then it says 10 months into the health crisis, they still know little about where people are catching the virus. Again, they know very little about where people are catching the virus. In fact, in Germany, authorities say that they don't know where 75% of their patients that test positive, where it's coming from. Austria, 77% of the people. In Spain, they don't know where 93% of the people are getting it from. And so I just want to help you guys understand something. What that means is that they don't know how you contract the virus. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't know where it's coming from. They're clueless on it. Even Spain that said that we know where 7% of the people are coming from, they probably don't know. Just because you were at a party where somebody had COVID doesn't mean you get COVID. That's not how it works. It's not how it's ever worked. So here's my question for you guys. If this is the case, if this is what's going on, they don't know how it's contracted or how you get contacted with it. If they don't know that, how in the heck are they so confident saying that you have to wear a mask? How are they so confident you need to stay home? How are they so confident that you need to shut down a business? How are they so confident that in a restaurant, you have to wear it when you're standing up and walking, but once you're sitting, because the virus doesn't exist at this level, I guess, how do they know that? They don't. They're just doing things that are trying to control us, put us in fear. And what I'm seeing now more than ever is some of you guys that have been coming to the office. Now, I don't judge you. I'm just asking the question. Some of you guys have been coming in with more people have been coming in with masks lately. And if you want to do that, that's awesome. But there's no science to it. And in fact, there's science the opposite direction. If you actually look at real science, the CDC's flopped on it so many times. Fauci's flopped on it so many times. But if you look at long-term research, God built us properly with the right immune system that we need with our nose hairs in our mouth and all the stuff that we have inside. It's all there. And so I just want to help you guys understand that. Stop the fear. Understand one thing is that God made you amazing. He put the power to heal you and created you from the inside. It's there. Your body knows how to heal. It knows what to do. It knows how to fight this thing off. The only time it doesn't is that if you've messed it up. If you've done something to create sickness and disease in your body, if you have things like cancers and heart disease and diabetes, if you have problems, these are warning signals that your body's trying to tell you something's just not working out right. See, you guys got to understand something, that there's 99.99% of people that get this recover from it. So there's no need for us to be in complete scare tactics like they're trying to do. And then the other thing is, like I said, is that we've just got to make sure that we take care of the host, the terrain. If your body's taken care of, then you're going to be taken care of along the way as well. So I just want to make you guys understand this, that today is going to be the last class in our Fearless Immunity Masterclass. It's been fun, but if you want to know how to build an immune system, and all you have to do is look at all 6 weeks of these classes. And if you have friends or family members that are kind of confused about how to take care of themselves, have them watch the last 6 weeks of classes, because it'll change everything. So I'm going to bring Keisha in here, introduce Keisha to you guys. You guys know Keisha. Say hi, Keisha.
Hi. Hello.
So a couple cool things is Keisha's going to be here today. She's going to take you through some of the science, and actually where part of her passion is exercising anyway too. And so this is going to be a lot of fun today, what we're going to go through. I want to let you guys know that I'm going to bring you guys into the PowerPoint here too. So we'll be on the side here. So what I want you guys to see here is that the one thing that I know is that in our office, our purpose here, and Keisha will back this up too, because this is where her heart and passion is, and I think this is why she's worked with me for so many years, is that our purpose here is to help people find their calling and their passion, their God-given potential, breaking chains and changing family trees. And what we mean by that is that if you want to be different than everybody else, you've got to do something different. If you want to have a higher level of health and live a long life without cancer and heart disease and diabetes, and get out of this medical model, our healthcare system is ruining this country. Our healthcare model is a disaster. Our healthcare model is all about putting Band-Aids on things and covering symptoms up, and none of it is about how to actually get healthy and strong from the inside. Keisha can tell you that from her own personal experience as well. And so what I want to make sure you guys understand is that today's class, it's all about how do we get your life back. I remember one particular story. I had one lady when I worked at the beach as a chiropractor, and this lady was older. She was 80 some years old, and life as she knows it was miserable. And so she started coming in, she started getting adjusted. I said, what do you love to do? And she says, her name was Rita. I go, Rita, what do you love to do? She goes, I love to walk. And I go, well, why don't you walk? She goes, because I can't walk a half a block. I said, you know what you're going to do today is you're going to go walk a half a block today. And then tomorrow you're going to go walk a block. And then the next day you're going to walk a block and a half. And the next day you're going to walk 2 blocks. And once you know it, after she came in, after about 3.5 weeks, she came in and said, you're not going to believe it. Today I walked 18 blocks. And just that movement. And again, how fitting is that for this talk is it's going to be about movement and what movement does to you and what the science is behind movement. I want to help you guys understand too, is that if you guys have friends and family members that are hurting, I just talked to somebody here and they have a friend that had a muscle pull over the weekend. Of course, they went to doctor, spent 2 days in there and took all these medicines and had all these expenses, and they're no better after leaving there. And so if you guys have friends and family members that have sickness and disease, and they just need to get out of that medical model, or they need their life on the right track, then one of the things you guys can do is just get them into the office. If you're referring them in right now, we'll give them, it'll be part of the friends and family deal, which is $40, which is something we just offer for you guys on a regular basis. So if you guys need any help with those people, just let us know. So Keisha, you want to tell a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so as I was going through this, it's just perfect. We'll go through some different slides that this pertains to a lot of people with making excuses about, not working out, or just getting into changing actions into routines, into habits. For me, I actually injured my back working at a nursing home. I was lifting a patient and I felt my disc rupture immediately when I was lifting her from her bed to her wheelchair. And from then on out, I was doing pain medications, muscle relaxers, steroid shots. Nothing was working. Went to college to pursue my passion, which was exercise science. Ended up graduating, getting my bachelor's degree. But instead of going to the beach and hanging out with my friends like you're supposed to do when you graduate, I actually went under anesthesia and had back surgery. And so for the next 6 months after that, I was bedridden. I actually was on more medication than ever at that point. Pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when they wanted to put me on an antidepressant. And I was like, no, this is not, the life that God intended for me. This is not my purpose. And I started actually looking for jobs, and I put in probably over 350 applications. And then another doctor that used to work in this office called me back, wanted me to come in for an interview. And it just, Max Living and Family Healing Chiropractic and our purpose that Dr. Mark just shared just fit in my life perfectly. It was a missing piece for me. I, had a good understanding about nutrition, workout, But I was missing the chiropractic aspect. And so I was able to come in, do the whole new patient appointment. I got consultation exam, x-rays. And it wasn't until a doctor's report I sat through when Dr. Mark stood up in front of a big group of us. And he's like, it doesn't matter how much medication you take, how many shots they inject in you, but until you really realign the spine and find out what's causing that issue, they're just going to keep giving you medications, and it's just going to temporary relief, and then it's going to come back. And so that was that's what changed my life. And so from there on out, I've been able to, obviously I got off of all the medications right away, and I've been able to start exercising again. I started running Spartan races again. Just started really working out and being able to live in my passion. And thank God I've been able to work here and serve patients and work beside Dr. Mark and his family for the last 9 years.
It's great. I love that story. And the one thing that Keisha won't let you guys know is she's a tough cookie. And there's still times because of the surgery that she had, even with chiropractic adjustments, that it's not always roses for her, that she still goes through some because she has some permanent problems from the surgery. So had somebody earlier today saying that they had a friend that was about ready to go under the knife. And I said, don't do it. I go, 95% of all back surgeries end up in another back surgery unless you do something about it outside of that, which is chiropractic, obviously. So yeah, just when you see her, just know that she's got a smile on. Chiropractic's helped her a ton, but there's times where she's a little rough. So let's jump into the exercise aspect of that. And so the things that I want you guys to know about, just some stats that we have here in America. Adults who are inactive have a greater risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers, even early death. That doesn't surprise us, right? I mean, you guys know that these diseases, the diseases that we suffer from in the United States, these are all lifestyle diseases. These are things that we've lifestyled ourselves into. Our doctors love it if we think that it's a genetic issue. They love it if we believe, because if they tell you have a genetic cancer or genetic diabetes, genetic heart disease, then the first thing you do is you say, oh, well, it's not my fault. It's my family's fault. And if it's not your fault, then there's nothing you can do about it. And so that problem comes to then is that you don't go do the things that lifestyled yourself into this. All these diseases I just listed for you, by the way, heart disease, cancer, stroke, depression, type 2 diabetes, some cancers, even early death. These things are all lifestyle sicknesses and diseases. 12.2% of high school students get the recommend, only 12.2%. Think about that. Only 12.2% of the high schoolers. And as you guys see these kids sitting on the couch right here, this is my kids. That's actually not my kids, but that pretty much looks like my kids right now. Some nights I just have to shake them to get off the couch. And listen, I'm guilty of it too. We all are. We're probably on our devices way more than we probably should be. But that's a staggering stat that only 12.2% of high school students actually get the recommended amount. Childhood obesity has quadrupled. Adolescent obesity has tripled in the past 40 years. The pathway that we're on right now is not a great pathway. We have sedentary lifestyles. The average adult spends at least 6.5 hours sitting every single day. Prolonged sitting may be just as bad for your health as smoking is. And so we all know that smoking is bad, but sitting could be just as bad. This week, actually last week, I bought a standing desk and a standing mount for my computer at home. The reason why is because I realized for the last 2 years, I've been sitting at this desk and it's just crushed me. I work a lot from home on Tuesday, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm typically doing consultations with doctors from all over the country, just teaching them how to be able to run their office and their staff and how to take better care of their patients and everything like that. And I realized this, as of last 2 weeks ago, I just said, I've got to do something completely different. So one of the things with sedentary lifestyles in the US is it's because of work, but a lot of us are working at home now. And so it's even worse these days. And that links of studies studies are linked to that there's high blood pressure, high blood sugar, weight gain, high cholesterol, coronary heart disease, breast cancer, colon cancer, type 2 diabetes, and also higher mortality rates in those that sit longer than others. So again, these are all things that we have to take into account with our lifestyle, is that these are real facts and stats right now. Keisha.
Oh, and so to that other one, it's like, I was talking to a patient on Friday and she said, I have to work from home. She has no choice. She even has the stand-up desk too, but still she's standing there for long periods of time. So a couple of solutions would be, to set a timer. You have all these fancy Fitbits out now that you can set a timer and move around, try to move every 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I even found myself when I was preparing for this presentation, I was like, I have to set a timer because I'm involved in, my work and focus. You get focused, you get stuck, tunnel vision. It's just really setting that timer to get out of it. It actually helps with your production level too. If you can help, just step away from it, but make your movements intentional. Don't just walk around, still on a phone call. Actually separate yourself for, 5 or 10 minutes. Do a 5-minute brisk walk, do some jumping jacks, really get out of that environment. And then when you come back in it, like I said, your work production, your physical and mental health, and overall mood will change.
Great.
Bottom line is just movement. And then, so a couple things is, identifying the problem for sure. And then I think it was the last slide.
Sorry.
There you go. Just really identifying the problem because like Dr. Mark said, sitting is just as detrimental to your body now as smoking a half a pack of cigarettes. People are sitting anywhere from 6.5 to 7 hours per day. And so just imagine that's like smoking half of a pack of cigarettes. And, obviously a lot of us wouldn't want to just go out and smoke half a pack of cigarettes, but we need that realization to know how detrimental sitting is to our spines. So if sitting is the new smoking, then how do you quit? The answer is figuring out what the problem is. And so here's some of the problems people have came up to us and said in the office. They don't know where to start. Gyms are too expensive. It's difficult. I don't feel like it. I don't have time. And so just some answers to those questions is just move. Take your life and your health and make it your responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility. And like I said, the first step is just getting up and doing it. It only takes 12 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. You don't have to go out and do a whole hour workout. I'm sure there's some things that you can give up that's not adding value into your life. I know a lot of us have shows that we watch on Netflix and we just enjoy them so much. We want to binge watch them. And then that's our 6 hours that we were sitting. Just taking away 15, 20 minutes of things that aren't adding value to our lives and just take that time to exercise and help yourself and just pour into your health.
So she sugarcoated that. She says, some of you guys could probably use other time for this time. And listen, you all, including me, we all have the time. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of what our priorities are along the way. And the thing is, you can't just be motivated either, because there is a problem with motivation. Motivation only lasts so long. You guys have all probably made the New Year's resolution. January 1, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do all the stuff. You buy all the fancy stuff and everything. And then January 1 hits and you sit around and drink beer and eat pizza and wings and watch football games. And then January 2 comes and you're like, I'm start later. And the problem with motivation is it's temporary and you don't typically follow through with it. Mm-hmm. And so motivation is sparked out of the desire for results. You want results, but so you want to be motivated. You want it to be driven. But the reality is that habits match your identity. So habits are way different than what motivation is. Okay. And so this is one thing. I actually teach a whole 3.5 day weekend course for staff and doctors down in Florida. I've done this for probably the last 12, 13 years now. And one of the things we talk about more than anything else is just understanding who you are and not doing things because you're motivated. We call it, we don't want you to have a jacuzzi experience. I don't want you to watch this video, have a jacuzzi experience and say, okay, here we go. We're going to work out every day and we're going to do this thing, but then have it fizzle out. What I want you to understand is that you have to make a change and create leverage over yourself. And what I mean by that is that you have to have a why. Why do you want to start to exercise? What happens if you don't exercise? What does that mean for you? If you don't move your body, what's that mean for you? It means that you're going to become, if you watch older people, and this is the thing my wife and I love, we people watch constantly because we're both chiropractors. But one of the things we watch is like old people that are still able to get around and move and that are still super healthy. They're the ones that are the most flexible. They're the most active and they're able to move flawless almost, it seems like. The ones that are having a lot more problems with their health are the ones that are incapable. They're not flexible at all. They're not able to move like they're supposed to. And that it's harder watching those people. And so what we want to help you guys understand with today is that we don't want to just motivate you to start moving. We want to help you understand that this needs to become part of your identity. And habits match identity. Your habits will follow your identity. The things that you do on a regular basis that you're committed to, for some people, it's exercising every single day because that's part of their identity. For some people, it's eating healthy. For some people, it's eating crappy. For some people, it's watching TV because that's what their identity is. And so what I want to help you guys understand is that we need to start to understand why is it so important for us to exercise? Why is it so important for you to exercise? What's the leverage? If you don't start moving and don't start exercising right now, what is 5 years from now? What is 10 years from now? What does it look like? What is it going to be like for you and your family if you don't start moving today and keep moving and make it a part of your regular life? What's that going to look like for you? That's what we want to take you guys through this today in this next few minutes.
So yeah, just basically you have to stop you have to crush your excuses. And so for me, you know, there are times where I get up in the mornings, I am in pain. You know, there's limitations of matter from my back surgery. And so, you know, my back is hurting. I can barely walk for a little while. Just basically it's all mindset. I have to tell myself, you know, if I stop moving, I'm going to stop moving. I have to keep moving. And the hardest part is to just, when you stop, is to get back started. So why even stop in the first place? And so I just looked up the definition of routine, but the definition of routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed by fixed programs. So the key word there is actions. And so actions equals routines equals habits. And so when you start acting on something and putting something in motion, it becomes a routine and then it becomes a habit. And this is just something that you do every single day. It's like going to work. It's like brushing your teeth. It's like reading the Bible. Whatever it is, exercise will become part of that daily habit as well. So some benefits of exercise, it helps support healthy weight gain, builds strong bones, strengthens muscles. It helps reduce risk of disease. Also with, you know, the increase of people that are depressed and going on anxiety medication right now. Even suicide has tripled because of, you know, the lack of interaction, social interaction, more people working from home. It's just really affected people. And with exercise, this helps to release good hormones, serotonin, norepinephrine, and really increases those, you know, happy, feel-good hormones. They did a study out of 24 women that had recently been diagnosed with depression or anxiety. In just a couple weeks, they noticed a 50% mood change in all of these women all the way across the board. And it didn't matter what the exercise was specifically, they were just moving. They just were moving, whether it's brisk walking or whatever it was, they were just exercising and moving their body. And so also it increases your relaxation, stress, and it increases your sleep quality by 65% as well.
I mean, there's just the list of benefits of exercise is so huge. And, I'll get to a few more later, but I mean, Keisha went through a huge list there for you, but we were built to move and we have to move on a regular basis. One of the types of exercises that we really talk and talk a lot about and Keisha can talk about Max T3 in a little bit, but we talk about short duration, high intensity exercise. So this means that you don't have to do like long periods of time. Like, you know, you think you have to go on a 3-hour run or something like that, or even an hour aerobics class is what they used to do. They still do classes that are that long. But reality is you can hit it in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you can get it. And you can actually have fat burning in your body for over the next 36 hours. Keisha's going to go through that in a little bit too. But what we use it and what we're big on, because it really most resembles our bodies and what our bodies are used for, is short duration, high intensity exercise. So it's exactly like it sounds. So you do small dosage and you do it at high intensity. And basically what's happening is the metabolic conditioning, it's called metabolic conditioning. what happens is it enhances fat burning, but it also helps balance hormones, which helps like sex life and your emotions and all kinds of fun stuff that goes with it too as side effects. But all these things kind of get better because of this. But here's what short duration really looks like. It's anything. You can do any exercise. You can do running sprints, and you can do 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And you can go run as hard as you can for 20 seconds on and then 20 seconds off. Run 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And that, and even 1 minute's time of exercise, you will be so gassed, but it helps the metabolic conditioning in your body. You'll be breathing heavy, you'll be sweating, and you can do it with anything. You can actually do it with push-ups. You can do 20 seconds on, you can do 20 of them and rest for 20 seconds, whatever it is. You can even do, some of you guys that have knee problems, you can modify it. That's the great thing about Max T3 is it modifies. There's modifications that you can do if you're in a wheelchair. I had a guy that he would do punches. And you could sit there and you could punch. And if you did that for 20 seconds, I guarantee if you do it as hard as you possibly can for 20 seconds, then you'll be gassed. You'll be breathing heavy. And that breathing heavy helps on so many different levels. The benefits of the high intensity, like I said, optimizes hormones, increases fat burning, also boosts muscle building. What leaner muscle mass does for you is cancer, heart disease, diabetes, viruses, bacteria. These cannot survive in an oxygenated body, especially cancer's research that it can't survive in an oxygenated body. And the leaner muscle mass that you have, the less likelihood it is that your body can have cancer or sickness or disease. Why? Because leaner muscular mass people have more oxygen that's readily available for their bodies. And so this increases your attitude. This helps your happy hormones. I mean, all kinds of different things. In fact, I flew to, Nadia and I flew to California for some training this last weekend. And I got there, and like the second day, I was kind of like jet lagged a little bit. The timing was off. I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning because I'm usually up at 5, and it's 3 hours difference over there, and it's just a disaster. So one of the mornings, actually both the mornings, I got up and I just went. I worked out for 20 minutes, and I just went hardcore, like high intensity, quick, get out of my breath. I did some burpees, I did some push-ups, I did some dumbbells. I did all this stuff. And then what I was doing it for is I wasn't even doing it for working out. I was doing it because I needed an attitude change. I needed some kind of boost in energy. Even though I had just slept, I needed those things. And that's what happens when you go out and exercise high intensity.
Okay. Yeah. So basically this is what you just went through. It just shows a chart of the first one on the left is a 1 hour, just classic cardio, whether it's treadmill or walking at moderate pace for an hour. And then the metabolic conditioning is your 12-minute, 15-minute Max T3 workout. So it's more than just, a brisk walk or something like that. It is high intensity, like Dr. Mark said, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. The effects are just so much greater. With the classic cardio, you sweat during the workout, but it quickly stops after. So this type of exercise, the fat burning is not really there. I mean, you're burning up calories, but you're not really getting into your fat stores. But the metabolic conditioning, you don't sweat as much during the actual workout, but you sweat continuously for after. So the effects last for, up to 36 hours. You're really getting into your fat stores with this exercise.
Yeah, and the other thing, if you're doing classic cardio, meaning that you're doing some intensity workout for a long period of time, the other thing that it does, research shows, is that decreases your immune system actually too. And actually high intensity metabolic conditioning, that actually increases your immune system through this time. So these are just things to consider, again, that our bodies need movement, but it needs the right type of movement too.
And so with Max T3, so this is our Max Living workout program. And so with Max T3, it really is based off of the principles. There's 3 T's. And so the first one is time, type, and tempo. So that's all 3. The first one is time. So it's 10 to 20 minutes, once a day, really quick workout. They have in this exercise plan, we'll put it up on the side. You can go online and order it. It just really gives you all the workouts you need. It's over 72. There might even be more exercises on there now. It's just a wide variety of things that you can do that only takes that, like we just said, that 10 to 20 minutes a day. Really easy exercises. They have 3 different instructors on there. They have one that just started, like a sedentary person that just started working out, all the way to an Olympic athlete. So wherever you're at, it's in there. It has your range, so you can start, wherever you feel comfortable. And then the type of workout is in there as well. So if you're still a beginner, there's no impact, there's low impact, or up to the Olympic, there's high impact exercises in there as well. And then tempo is fast paced, really focuses on that metabolic conditioning. So go ahead and go check that out. It's really awesome. It also incorporates essential characters of fitness, including power, strength, endurance. It works on your balance and coordination, flexibility, speed, and agility.
It's great. And the guy that developed it, good friends of mine, Fred and Dr. Fred Roberto down in Atlanta, Marietta, and his wife, Kim Roberto, they're actually brother and sister-in-law, are actually patients in our office too. But we go way back. And one thing that's cool about Fred making this, and here's a guy that's like 52 years old. When he takes his hat off, he looks 60. Hopefully he never watches this because he'll kill me. But he always wears a hat, and the guys travels all over the world with the USA Olympic team. And they take them everywhere with them because it's important for them to have the proper exercise, but he also gives them nutritional advice and workout advice and stuff like that too. But what I love about the way that Fred developed this program is, and I get it. You guys can turn on YouTube and find exercises. Guys can get all kinds of apps that have this stuff. But I think ours is like $20 or $10 now. Keisha, I'm not even sure what it is. But if you get the Max T3, the one thing that he takes into consideration is that he's also making sure that he's not doing anything that's going to misalign your spine. So here we are trying to fix your spine and posture and correct that, but he's not going to teach you any exercises that are going to take you out. He's going to actually teach you exercises that actually help support that, which is a great thing too. So monitor your heart rate was one way to find out metabolic conditioning. If the formula for this it's really pretty simple. 220, you guys have seen this before on exercise equipment. It's been there for years. 220 minus your age. So if you're 40 years old, that's 180. And then you do 180 times 0.8, which is 80%. And then you get your number, and that's your maximum heart rate that you're trying to hit. You want to hit 80% of your maximum heart rate. So you want to teeter on the place of when you're at your maximum heart rate. It should be very difficult to talk. You should be sweating heavily. You should be breathing heavily. And like I said, it should be very difficult to talk while you're doing this. And so what this helps do in biochemistry and metabolism, beta oxidation is what it starts. It's a catabolic process by which fatty acid molecules are broken down in the mitochondria of your cells. And the mitochondria is where your acetyl-CoA is. What basically these are your energy blocks. And the energy blocks that are inside your body, inside the smallest cells, these things are activated at a stronger and a bigger level when you're doing this stuff with high intensity. That's why we're trying to get that up. And some of you guys have just never been there before, to where and I think about this all the time. It's like, I think back to high school, and it's like every workout that we did was always to this level. And sometimes it's easy to get lazier, and you're like, oh, I went for an hour walk, and you feel pretty good. And you do feel pretty good. And you might even lose weight doing that because you're just not moving. But then you might go for, you might do an hour spin class or something like that. That's great. But again, are you guys hitting these metabolic conditioning? Are you guys going hard, high intensity, short durations? That's the most effective way for activating all aspects of your immune system, your body, and all the hormones that Keisha was talking about earlier too. So protecting your joints. It's funny. This is exactly from a Dr. Seuss book, Inside Your Outside. It says the joints. This is the definition it gets. The joints are a place where two or more bones meet or connect, and they allow us to move. And it's funny, when I read that, I was just like, that's the exact same line from this Dr. Seuss book that I read to my kids growing up. Joints are actually, people talk about achy joints. Just had a young girl in here that has achiness all over in her hands. She's got arthritis in her neck, and she's young. I mean, young Hispanic girl. I mean, if I had to guess, she's probably late 20s maybe. And I couldn't tell because she had a mask on. And so she comes in, and I guess I could have looked at her chart, but I didn't. And so I was talking to her, and she's like telling through an interpreter that she's got all this pain in her hands, and there's arthritis and her achiness in her joints and all this kind of stuff. Well, the reason why joints start to ache, just so you guys understand something, is that things don't happen for no reason. Okay. So that, and again, I'm going to get probably hate mail for this or whatever it is, but I love you guys. I hope you guys understand where my heart is. Somebody doesn't just die from COVID out of nowhere. Okay. Somebody doesn't just die of cancer out of nowhere. Somebody doesn't just get a heart attack. I had somebody write on my Facebook post the other day, oh, well, I know somebody who exercised, did all this stuff, and his heart was perfect, and he died of a heart attack the next day. I'm like, yeah, people with perfect hearts don't die of heart attack. I'm sorry, sweetie. And I didn't say it to her because I just let her kind of vent her thing. But there's reasons why these things happen. If your joints are hurting, if you have joint issues, maybe it's because you abused it playing sports growing up. I don't know. But there are plenty of people that played tons of sports growing up that don't have these issues still. Okay. So protecting the joints, big thing is that some of you guys might have to do different types of exercises. So a couple years ago, about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, we were at a seminar down in Atlanta, and I was working out with one of my friends, and I really think I irritated a disc so bad in my low back that I could barely drive home from Atlanta. I had to do it with the chair all the way back. And so sorry about the phone ringing. And so what I had to do is kind of funny is that when I got home, I was like, what do I do? How do I fix this thing? And I'm a chiropractor. Of course, I'm going to get adjusted, but I was still like, when you're your own patient, it kind of sucks. And I was laying down in one of these rooms in between patients. What I found is that burpees, which are one of the worst, I think the devil created this exercise. The burpees are the worst thing in the whole wide world. It's hard, but it was the best thing in the whole wide world for my back. So what I'm trying to help my patients understand, and what I want you guys to understand, is that certain exercises are going to be better for certain joints for you. So yes, let's get you eating healthy. Let's get you adjusted on a regular basis. Let's decrease your toxins. Let's get the joints and bones moving properly, because the only way that joints can actually stay healthy is they need movement. But in order for them to have movement, you need to move, and they need to be in proper alignment, especially when it comes to the spine. So that's why adjustments, alignments, right? And movement on top of it, that's why these things are great. And some of you guys are just like, if you have the excuse in your head that I'm too old or I have this problem and I can't exercise, we need to get rid of that. We need to find a different way for you, because you can't be stuck in that limiting belief. There are always things we can do for you. I had a patient that came in 2 or 3 years ago, and Mike came from, I spoke at a church, and he came in a wheelchair. He had diabetic neuropathy, which means that he couldn't use his legs anymore. It started going into his hands. He came as a referral from a dentist friend of mine. The dentist referred him over, and I spoke at the church, and he says, okay, and he heard me on the radio. He got the trifecta. He heard me in 3 spots. It's kind of funny when we start to see patients come in and they heard me 3 different areas, and they're like, I think God told me I'm supposed to be here. What happened with Mike, though, is that he wouldn't let me adjust his low back. He'd only let me adjust the top, but he got such great results with the top that I started telling him, I'm like, okay, we need to start working on eating better, and we need to start working on moving your body. And so he actually started doing some pool stuff, some movement. And what was fascinating is this is a guy that was a diabetic and had heart issues too. And he actually cut his blood sugar and his levels down to a place where he was no longer labeled diabetic anymore, because he started moving, started eating good, and started getting adjusted. Eventually, he was able to actually pull up out of the chair. He was able to walk up to the cross and touch the cross and pray on the cross one Easter. And so we see this stuff happen all the time. Again, some of you guys aren't in this bad of shape, but let's don't wait until you get to this bad of shape before we start doing something about it. You either are going to do something about it, change your identity, change who you are, start moving, or you're going to end up like everybody else. And everybody else is having problems with this stuff, and the stats are out there. Let's be different than everybody else. Keisha.
And so there's really 3 different levels of exercise. So there's the first one is no impact, where your feet don't leave the ground. There's low impact, where it's 1 foot leaves the ground at a time, or there's high impact, where both of your feet are leaving the ground at the same time. So this is more of like, jumping jacks, jump squats, things like that. So, but the goal is really just choosing what's right for you and wherever you're at in your health, and just really getting started. Any of these exercises will increase your heart rate. It promotes healing in your body, increases your cardiovascular health, burns fat, and then helps, overall with your hormones. Low impact, obviously, we just talked about that, is more swimming. It's even seated exercises. It's, ellipticals, is things that are easier on the joints. Again, it doesn't matter. Just get started. Doesn't matter which program you choose.
Love it.
And then all of these exercises we just talked about promotes sweating. So sweating is really not just about cooling your body down, but really getting rid of toxins. Every day we're exposed to toxins. It doesn't matter how much you pay attention to the products you put on your skin, or your washing detergent, or even the food you eat. Is really about making sure you're getting a good sweat too, so you can remove the toxins from the inside out as well.
One thing I love too in sweating, this is something that it's underrated. We need to sweat. I remember growing up like sweating all the time on the playgrounds and all that kind of stuff, and you didn't care. But sweating is a big piece. There's two ways that your body detoxes the best. Sweating is one, and breathing, exhaling is the other. And so we need to sweat, but we also have to get your stinking masks off from time to time when it's safe, when you feel comfortable. Again, if you're not around anybody, if you're in the car, take that thing off. When you get home, when you get outside the building, you've got to take this thing off. For the first time since COVID hit, I was undefeated up until the spot. I wore masks first time to fly to California this last week. And even just wearing that for even 15 minutes, I could not believe how poorly I could breathe. And so, and I knew it was affecting me. And I can't imagine that people come in all the time and they're sitting here saying to me like, oh man, I've been experiencing dizziness and this and this. I'm like, are you wearing your mask everywhere? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, stop wearing your mask everywhere. It's not even effective. And again, like I said, it's in the stats, they don't know where the stuff's coming from, but yet wear your mask. And so again, if you want to wear a mask because of some kind of a social pressure or whatever you guys feel like you want to do, but sweating and breathing are the two biggest ways that you can actually get toxins out of your body. Like Keisha was saying, sweat releases toxins. We're exposed to toxins daily. So there's no way that we're ever going to, I believe we're in a day and age right now where toxins have been such a main part of our world that you cannot avoid every toxin. You're going to be exposed to toxins daily. It's just a matter of limiting as much as you possibly can. If you guys heard me talk last week, you guys have heard the story about the kid with the starfish, and the little kid goes and starts taking the starfish, and on the beach there's hundreds and hundreds of starfish, and the little kid throws the starfish in and gets down and throws another one in, and the guy standing with her says, hey, you're not going to be able to save them all. And he goes, no, but it makes a huge difference for that one. And that's the reality, is that for us, it's the same thing, is that no, you're not going to be able to get all the toxins out of your life, but that one or that two things that you can, start to eliminate stuff now. And what sweating does is, even as you're trying to eliminate what's coming in, sweating will help you eliminate what's already in your system, especially things like toxins like BPA and PCB. These are things that are like storage containers and all kinds of plastics and stuff that we're exposed to on a regular basis. So sweating is huge when it comes down to releasing the toxins.
So definitely figuring out why you can't sweat is a big deal. For me, I've struggled with this a lot in the past, just working out for hours at a time, or basketball games. I would play a whole straight basketball game in high school, hour and a half to 2 hour game, and my face would just be beet red, but I'm not sweating. And so if anybody's struggling with this, it's just really figuring out why you're not sweating. Are you staying hydrated? I mean, that's a big deal for me too. I have to make sure I have water in front of me at all times, because I need that trigger to make sure I'm drinking water constantly. Are you exercising enough or properly? Like if you're doing the low impact versus high intensity or high impact, maybe you need to change, and maybe your body is already adapted to the low impact. Maybe it's time for you to start doing more high intensity max T3 style workouts. Is it the right exercise for you? Or these are just things that are really important to figure out how to sweat and really how to get those toxins out of your body. And it really helps, with your health overall, really sweating.
And some of the things that we've seen too in the past with people that come in and they're like, man, I exercise all the time. I eat right. I just can't lose weight. Sometimes your hormones are out of balance, and it's coming from the nerve system. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the nerve system is a key component. And we've had people with hormone imbalances, and they exercise like crazy and they still can't overcome that. A lot of times it comes down to their nerve system's a mess. And that's one of the other things that we take a look at here too.
And this really boils down to your mindset as well. You can make all the excuses like we talked about before. There's so many excuses in the world, but it's just really figuring out how to take responsibility for your health. Stop putting in your medical doctor's hands. Stop, letting these excuses take you over. Start. It's just time to take action and really just get started. I know there are legit excuses, pain, whatever it is. It's just really, the bottom line is take action. Actions turn into routines, and then that turns into habits.
So good. And so exercise boosts your mood. That was one of the things that we joke about always in our house, is that especially raising kids. I mean, I can't imagine. I wouldn't want to be my kid, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun as a parent. But I think my girls will tell you that they've had a pretty good upbringing, because I just challenge them, I think, differently than a lot of parents do. But when my kids are in bad moods, when they were younger, one of the things that we would do is we'd make them exercise. You're going to do burpees. You're going to do this. And it was funny because one time my kids, my two older ones, they were just being nasty to each other, and just mood was bad. And I had them carrying logs around in our garage like this, and walking around in the garage until their arms don't call Child Protective Services on me, please. But it was kind of funny because it changed their mood in a second. Exercising, movement, sweating changes your mood in an instant second. And it was funny, the best thing about it too is they were at the age where they're teenagers, and it was awkward because somebody came over and knocked on our door and saw them, and they were so embarrassed, which was even better on top of it. And so they didn't act as nasty to each other after that little moment for at least 24 hours. But one of the things I will tell you about boosting mood, it helps release endorphins. You guys have heard of people say the runner's high. This is the type of stuff that you see. Like I said, when I flew this last weekend, it was great to get some exercise in because it changes and boosts my mood. It makes me happier. So let me give you guys a couple examples of this. So for everybody that's listening to this right now, or if you're watching the recording, what I want you guys to do is just one thing real quick. Just sit up straight, bring your shoulders back, tilt your head back a little bit, close your eyes, take a big, huge, deep breath in through your nose, and then hold it, and then blow it out slowly, okay? And then do it one more time. Big, deep breath in through your nose, hold it for 2 seconds, and then slowly out through your mouth, okay? So just even doing 2 breaths like that, and changing your state in a second. If you sit up taller, it changes your state. If you slouch, it changes your state. If you're stand up, it changes your state. If you get up and you did jumping jacks right now, okay? So I want one of you guys to get in here, and I'm gonna give you guys an extra ticket for the drawing. The first person that says in the comments there that you got up and did jumping jacks for 20 seconds. Okay, so somebody go ahead and go now. Somebody stand up wherever you're at. If you're driving, don't do this, okay? But do jumping jacks, go, just go. And do it for 20 seconds. You're our test model. Somebody's gotta do it. If nobody does it, Michaela, you gotta do it, okay? And so I know she's listening in. And you do that for 20 seconds. And then when you're done with just even that 20 seconds, now all of a sudden it's different. So put in the comments there if you're the one that got up and did it. Hopefully a couple of you guys did it. But exercise boosts moods, okay? And that's why you'll see in our office, I'm not a big fan of anybody sitting ever. We want to stand and we want to move. Posture and state and movement are gigantic when it comes to the health of our bodies, okay? Michaela, let me know if somebody put something in the comments. Core chiropractic. So proper alignment, before you do anything, people always ask me, hey, if I get adjusted today, can I still work out? Or can I go do yoga? Should I do yoga with chiropractic? Should I do acupuncture with chiropractic? Should I do physical therapy with chiropractic? My answer is always going to be yes, because chiropractic always makes everything else better. And what I mean by that, if you guys heard us on the Nerve System Week, I talked about how when your spine and nerve system is in tone, okay, it's like a guitar string that when you take a guitar string that is tuned, finely tuned, and you pluck it, it plays a note and it's pleasing to your ears. But if you take that string and you tighten it too much or loosen it up too much, now what happens is it actually makes an awful sound. It's really the same thing with this nerve system here that you're looking at, is that the brain up here controls every single function you have. It controls how you see, how you breathe, every function you have, your energy, how your hormones balance, how good your sleep is, how good your sex life is, how focused you are, how good your mind is, how well your heart beats, how your lungs breathe, all these things. But what happens is the brain has to send messages down through this wire. Basically, it's bundle of hundreds of millions of nerves. And the nerves go out to every single organ, cell, tissue, inch, muscle, everything of your body is completely controlled by the communication from your brain to your body. Now, here's what happens though, is when the spine goes out of alignment, it changes the tension or the tone of the brain and spinal cord. And when it changes the tone, then now all of a sudden the messages aren't as clean as what they once were. And so what happens is if the brain can't communicate properly and the tone's not proper, then sickness and disease, aches and pains, digestive problems, depression, anxiety, cancer, heart disease, diabetes. See, understand when your spine's out of tune or out of tone, it actually allows less functioning. And see, less function means more sickness, more disease. Not right away, because if you guys watched the nervous system week, I talked about how the symptoms don't come on right away. Symptoms are the last ditch effort for your body to know something's going on. It's kind of like the oil light in your car. The oil light doesn't come on your car when you lose an ounce of oil. It comes in when you've lost 75% of your oil. That's when the light comes on. It's the last ditch effort to let you know something's going on. It's the same way with your headaches, your neck pain, your digestive system problems, depression, anxiety, cancers, heart disease, diabetes. Now, I'm not just telling this for you, okay? If you're watching this, more than likely you're a patient. Some of you guys are guests too, I get that. But I'm telling you guys this because this is our master class. We didn't want to just teach you this class so that way you have better knowledge. I definitely want that. The whole thing we're trying to create out of this is lifetime patience. What I'm hoping for is everybody that made it through this class is still going to be in our office 16 years from now. We've been open for 16 years. I've got some people that are on here that have been in here, this office for 16 years, and they will tell you that their life was completely changed and transformed because of the pathway that they're on. I'm praying that there's people on this line that will still be here 16 years from now. We'll probably be doing it differently than a video like this. It'll probably be some kind of sunglasses or something. I don't know what it's going to be. But understand, I want to teach you guys this so well because that way you can go change and influence and help other people. Because we all know people that are sick and suffering, and they've taken all the blame out of their process, out of their hands. They give it to their doctor, and their doctor's just putting fear into them to take them down a pathway of drugs and medications, pharma, COVIDs, vaccines, all this garbage that they're going to pump into this person's body in the medical model. And you're going to get one of the worst healthcare systems in the world because you follow that. Oh, but it's accepted. Well, it's accepted because people are making lots of money off of it. And they have big fancy hospitals. Of course, it's accepted. But I want you guys to understand that model is only there as a last ditch effort. It should be, you have to realize to take care of yourself. So if you have friends and family members, and I don't know how well you guys can see this chart right here. I don't think you guys can see it very well at all. But what I want you guys to understand though, is that on this chart, if you guys know somebody, I'll try to increase it maybe a little bit. Let's do that. If you can see that though, you guys understand is that there are people that have problems here that are suffering from symptoms, and their solution for this is to take a drug to cover up the symptom and keep dealing with the same problem over and over and over again. What our whole job here is in this office is to just remove the interference, take the tension off your spine and your nerve system, and allow your body to do everything that it needs to do. It looks like we had a couple people do the jumping jacks. Good job, guys. I love it. Love it. Love it. And now put in the comments, how did you feel after you did the jumping jacks? Did you have more awareness? Were you able to think straighter? Are you able to breathe heavier? Whatever you're doing, tell us some of the results that happen with that. So why we teach you guys this stuff is not just so you guys can have this knowledge for you, but it's really about teaching other people. Hey, look, you refer people to churches all the time. You refer people to fast food restaurants or to restaurants or to grocery stores. Why not refer them somewhere that's going to change the course of their life, change family trees, change the way that their bodies have been living, and give them responsibility back over their life and their health? And so some of you guys out there right now, hopefully you're doing really well with this. Some of you guys are probably doing better than others, but make sure you guys are still doing your home care. Why do we do the home care here? Well, because it's a part of your habits. One thing they said in chiropractic years ago is they talked about cumulative survival value. Okay, I'm going to say that again, cumulative survival value. And what they basically did is they would take patients in and they would add up all the things that were constructive and all the things that were destructive. So there was destructive forces and there's constructive forces. So Destructive forces were things like smoking, eating bad food, not exercising, chewing tobacco. These were all things that were destructive. Constructive were things like getting adjusted, eating healthy food, active. And so what happens is we're constantly playing this tug of war with our constructive and destructive survival values. And that's really kind of the formula that lets you know if you're going to have the best chance at life. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have all the positive constructive values, constructive survival values. You can do all the right things, and you can still die really young of something. And you're just like scratching your head. Just the same way as you can do all the bad things. We all know people that smoke and drink, do everything wrong, and they're 95 years old, and they're still living. And you're like, how the heck does this even happen? What we try to do is we can't play God. And so what we can do, and we say this all the time, God needs no help, just no interference. So Michaela put that in the line. God needs no help, just no interference. God needs no help, comma, just no interference. Basically what that statement says, and it's been around chiropractic for over 100 years, is that we don't need to, God doesn't need our help. He just needs us to stop screwing it up. And so do I think that chiropractors were needed and necessary at the time of Adam and Eve? No, because before sin, there was no sickness and disease. Even 100 years ago, was chiropractic necessary? No, but I think today, with the amount of stress that we're being put into, is now needed more than ever before. So what the home care stuff does for you, home care kit, when you do the rolls and when you do the traction and the wobble and all the stuff that you're supposed to do for your exercise at home, it actually helps support the nerve system, not just to make your x-rays look better. I said that in the chiropractic portion of that a couple weeks ago. But what it does is it actually helps your spine and your body and your nerve system. It helps you when you're not here, which is the keys. We want to make sure that everything's rolling and going on the right pathway. Couple things that we have for you guys. We have the Max Keto Bundle, Max Living Keto Bundle. And some of you guys that eat more keto. Now, again, we talked about keto a little bit and the nutrition aspect of it last week. Some people were asking, what are some of the things? These are great supplements. It's got the Max Keto Electrolytes, Max Keto MCT oil, which is medium chain triglyceride. And so these are all good for you as far as if you're more into the keto diet. This is stuff that will help you get fat burning. So if you're trying to reduce your sugars down, this Max Keto bar, it might be laced with crack. I'm just kidding. It's not. But it sometimes, like when I'm hungry and I eat this bar, it has 0 sugar in this thing. It has all the good healthy fats. It's a keto bar. It's something that we sell here. You can get it, I think, $4 a bar. $4? Yeah. $4 a bar, or you can buy a whole case and you get a little bit of discount on that as well. But it's a good meal supplement or meal replacement. If I miss a meal and I'm on the run or go, this is way better to grab this than some of the stuff that you're going to grab in other places as well. And so if you want more information about that, text in here, text bundle to our number 704-540-0055. You can text the word bundle. And Michaela can get you some more information about the bundles here that we have. We also have the Max Living Weight Loss Bundle. And this actually included in that has the Metabolics Burn, the Pro L-Carnitine formula, and it also has a grass-fed whey protein in this. These things, again, are not replacing anything. These are things that are helping support your body and actually the healing process that it's supposed to have from the inside. These things are all great for you. Again, if you want more information about it, you can grab it. Michaela, text the word bundle. Michaela will get you some more information about it. If you want to purchase those things, she gets your prices on it. Last thing, if you want to text us the Max Giving recipe book, this is actually great. Michaela posted this in a couple places today, and maybe even last week. She put it in the comments here as well. But there's a recipe book for Thanksgiving, but it has actually healthy recipes in there, and so it's something that you definitely. Again, I get it. I'm the same way, man. I am memory food. If I'm going home to eat at mom's for Thanksgiving, I am not eating a broccoli turkey. Okay. So I'll eat broccoli and I'll eat a turkey, but I'm not going to eat something like crazy. But these actual recipes are good. And people that have been making stuff out of this have been giving us feedback that this is just great stuff. Also, if you guys have somebody, a friend or family member that you really want us to help out, also text that same number, 704-540-0055. Text the word help. And if it's a family member that's in a different city, we'll communicate back with you. We'll find a chiropractor for them if they're here in this city. Then help us understand. We'll help you understand, or we'll help you find a way to get any kind of information that you want to get to them. If it's about the nerve system, it's about viruses, whatever it's about, we'll help send links. I'll even do consults with them over the phone if they have it. So if you have a friend or family member that's hurting, that has aches and pains and problems, sickness and disease, and you're just like, man, I just really wish they would do this. Just ask them, say, hey, look, my chiropractor's doing this thing this week where he's calling people and he's doing over the phone consults. Would you be interested in that? And there's no charge. And let them know that if that is just in the word help, even if you don't have permission from them yet, just text the word help and Michaela will help line them up, and we'll start to give you some resources and we'll figure out the best way possible. Keisha, you got anything to add before I close up?
Nope, that's it.
You're a woman of many words. I do know that. So thank you for co-hosting with me today. A couple action steps here for you guys. Again, if you're a guest, if you've never been here, if you're hearing this for the first time, one of the cool things that we have right now, we have some Facebook ads going on. But if you're on here as a guest, you're seeing this, whether live or recorded, please just text us 704-540-0055. Just say you'd like to be a new patient. Just say new patient. If you want to be a new patient in the office, text us that and we'll help line up how we can get in. If I know you from the community, from church, from around the area or whatever it is, just text us and we'll find a best way to get you in here and help figure it out. Also upcoming, I have a talk at a church on December 2nd. So lots of prayers for that. This church is finally, they've been going on Sundays, but they haven't opened up Wednesday night Bible study. And this is going to be their kickoff to opening back up on Wednesdays, which is cool because we need to be in church together as groups. We don't need to be isolated, scared, afraid in our houses watching church on a TV, my personal opinion. Love it or hate it, whatever. Okay. But here's the thing. I'm doing this talk at this church and he's opening up that night. It's going to be amazing. So what I'm asking you guys is if you guys have a place that needs to get moving and going, my whole talk there is going to be about viruses and how God designed our bodies to battle viruses and what's really there. And I did that. Basically, it's the talk I did on the second week here. So if you guys know of a place that we can do that or should do that, whether it's your business, whether it's your church, just text us, let us know that you have a lead and we'll help you guys get plugged in with that. Again, I just hope this has been a good 6 weeks for some of you guys. I know some of you guys really, I just applaud you. If you hung on for all 6 weeks live, which I know some of you guys are, I see you in the comments. I just appreciate every single one of you. If you're watching this for 6 weeks and you watched it recorded, I applaud you too. I know it's a lot harder to go back and watch it recorded than it is to watch these things live. If you're just catching this one and you've never heard of us before and you're just catching us now, go back and watch our season one. I'm speaking in Netflix terms. Go back and watch our session 1 or week 1 and our week 2, especially week 2 is nerve system. Go back and watch these things because I think you're going to be fascinated about what the immune system is and how it really works. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Love you guys. Michaela's going to gather up all the last tickets. We're going to do our drawings. We've got a $100 ticket. We got 2 $50 tickets that we're going to give for you guys. And these $100 and $50 tickets are going to be good for buying supplements. Here, they're going to be Max Living Family Healing bucks. And so, which equals about 1 million Shroot bucks. If you guys, any of you guys watch The Office, hopefully some of you guys do. Nani's watching, she's laughing. Anyway, so I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Keisha, for being on here. Thank you, Michaela. And we'll see you guys soon.